Hi, everybody. It's October 27th, 2024. I just came back from Mass. I'm sitting in one of my happy places, McDonald's. So I'm making these videos as a form of therapy to recover from the trauma of watching my favorite person, my little brother, Paul Kierans, 64, with Down syndrome, be locked up by the new Democratic Party government of BC in evil David Eby for 588 days after I complained to the police about a secret power of attorney the BC New Democratic Party created to give Paul the COVID-19 shot. So I complained to the police on August 26th of 2022, and I got a letter from the lawyer for Paul's group home, another evil person, Tara Britnell, saying that you'll never see your brother again. And she was pretty much right. I am so horrified by this. You know, growing up in Canada, going to law school just after the 1985 passage of the Charter, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and being warned about authoritarian, totalitarian regimes like China's communist China by my dad as a little girl. I just cannot believe that in my own country such a horrific thing could happen to anybody and to me personally. And so what I'm thinking about today, it just came to mind when I was a little girl. I was born in 1955, and in 1961, thalidomide came on the market. And so I would have been about 7. And I remember looking up at my mom and standing in the kitchen near our sink, and my mom telling me a story with pride about a Canadian woman doctor who recommended to President John F. Kennedy against allowing thalidomide, approving thalidomide for use in the United States. So the Canadian government approved it for use, and thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of Canadian babies were born with no arms and no legs, with the most severe deformities you can imagine. It was a form of anti-nausea medication for pregnant mothers. And of course, that was the baby boom. So it hit Canada and many other countries. It was ironically a drug developed by a German pharmacologist company. Anyways, I remember my mother telling me with pride that it was a Canadian woman doctor who was a special consultant to President John F. Kennedy and recommended against the use of thalidomide, thereby saving tens of thousands of American babies from being born with no arms and no legs. And she won, I believe she won the highest civilian medal awarded in the United States. So she was actually born in Cobble Hill in Victoria. So she's from Vancouver Island, she's from British Columbia, and this evil BC New Democratic Party government passed, I just found this out myself, but less than 10 days ago, by word of mouth, while working on Hamed Najafi's Conservative Party of BC campaign. I found out from another campaign worker that, and here I am, a lawyer since May 15th of 1992, that the BC New Democratic Party, evil socialist communist government, secretly snuck through a law, passed our legislature in 2022, that called the Health Professionals and Occupations Act, the HPOA Act. Google it. And what this act does is it allows health practitioners of any sort, so massage therapists, chiropractors, medical doctors, nurses, to be fined up to $200,000 and to be sent to prison for up to 2 years for expressing a viewpoint different than the government line of propaganda. Now, that's why I was thinking of Dr. Francis Oldham, is that she could have gone to prison for 2 years for expressing a viewpoint against thalidomide, or she could have been fined up to $200,000. And the government's also brought in or is bringing in legislation to do the same thing to lawyers. So lawyers, whose really their most important critical job in society is to criticize the government. So as criminal defense lawyers, you say the opposite of what the government says to protect your client from the heavy hand of the government, can lose their license instantly on with an anonymous complaint. So they can lose their livelihood, their license. They can have their records seized by a government bureaucrat, or your records seized. And this is true under the for health practitioners as well. Your private personal health records can be seized by a government bureaucrat with a warrantless search. So warrants for searches are protected. The right against warrantless or illegal searches and seizures is protected by the Charter. So so that lawyers can have your records seized with a warrantless search by a government bureaucrat, and they can go to prison for 2 years or be fined for up to $200,000 for expressing a viewpoint different. This government, this new democratic evil government, and I hope that when the Elections BC reviews counts the ballots, these evil new democratic members are thrown out, and that we get a Conservative Party of BC government, which is clearly what the people of British Columbia demand. But the reason that what I'm saying in this video, the main point I'm trying to get across, is that Dr. Francis Oldham could have lost her license, could have been fined up to $200,000, and could have gone to prison for 2 years for sharing the viewpoint that she shared with President John Kennedy that saved tens of thousands of lives of babies. Well, not lives, but limbs of babies. That her viewpoint was against the government propaganda and orthodoxy. This is what the thing about these evil socialists is: you can vote them in, but you can never vote them out, because they're clinging to their pure naked power is the highest. They don't care about you. They just care about clinging to pure naked power above everything. And how evil David Eby could have been elected in his riding is just beyond me. With 15,000 British Columbians dead of drug overdoses, many from the so-called safe supply given to our citizens by this evil government, the evil NDP government. So this video is a tribute to Dr. Francis Oldham Kelsey, Kelsey, from Victoria, British Columbia, who by going against the government orthodoxy, saved tens of thousands of American babies from losing their limbs, but could not save one Canadian baby from the same fate. That's how important the free expression of viewpoints is in our society. Think about Dr. Francis Oldham Kelsey. So that was what I wanted to share today. As you can hear, I've got a bad cold, but I'm still trying to get my 10,000 steps in. I love you all, and I really need your prayers to get me through the coming weeks, because this is a fight. This is a fight. Take care, everyone.